Hey nerds, we're going to go over Ahsoka Part 7. The title of it is Danger and Madness. It is written by Geeta Vedant Patel and written by Dave Filoni, starting now. Welcome to Nerd Social. I'm Colin.
And I'm Nathan.
So, we are now almost at the end of Ahsoka. It's now part 7. Again, it's called Dream. Actually, it's called Dreams and Madness. My apologies for misquoting that. And again, it's directed by Geeta Vasant Patel and directed by Geeta Vasant Patel and written by Dave Filoni. And so the spoiler-free logline for this particular episode is that Hera must answer to the New Republic far, far away where Huyang takes place. So, Nathan, what do you think of this particular episode of Ahsoka?
I liked it quite a bit. This is probably, I was thinking about this when I was watching it. It's probably my favorite episode. It has lightsaber battles. It has space battle stuff. We finally have all the players in one place, which is nice. Um, yeah, it was a really good episode. I know people, there's always something to complain about. I've seen other reviews say complain about some of the cameos and some other things, and we can get into the specifics because talking about what they're complaining about would be a spoiler. So I won't get into that. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I appreciated the action. I appreciated the the culmination of a lot of things that have happened over the season, and I appreciated even some cameos that we saw that I wasn't expecting in the episode. So yeah, it was a good ride for me.
Yeah, I think that for me is pretty similar. I think that I would say it's pretty above average than what we've seen before. Definitely, I would say stronger than the first few episodes. I think that for the first few episodes, they were kind of slow. And then, episode 5, with the appearance of Anakin was really a big kind of moment in the whole series. Probably in this whole like Mandalorian universe, the Filoni-verse that we're doing right now. Because of the return of Anakin in a very profound way. We saw Anakin in Obi-Wan. It was kind of like a different type of interpretation of him, and now we see him much more kind of like, again, the master to Ahsoka's apprentice. And so then you have like last week you had the return of Thrawn, which was really really cool. And so this week was, again, it's definitely not much of a high as say part 5 and part 6, but I would say this is definitely up there in terms of a high. Again, like you said, Nathan, there were some chase scenes that were really cool, some visuals that were really cool, and then finally there was definitely some tender moments as well toward near the end of the episode. So I think overall it's pretty solid, and definitely I think it's worth checking out for a lot of fans. And yes, the cameos were okay. They're not too bad, but some people are just kind of like cynical about that. But I think overall it's still a pretty solid episode. So that's where I'm going to be at. So, having said all that, what was your rating for this episode?
Yeah, I probably liked it a bit more than you did. I would give it a 9.
Hmm.
Um, a movie marathon. I really liked the Anakin stuff several episodes back, but if we're focusing on just the main characters, who I cared about them because I watched Rebels, but now we're like seven episodes in. They have it just in this show communicated reasons why we should care about we should care about the characters. And like I said, they're all in one place. Um, there's some great action. There's a lot. There's a few action set pieces in this, which which make this not boring at all.
Hmm.
There's just a lot of fun, and also like the cameos are nice as well. Um, like I said, we can get to who those what the cameos are when we talk about the spoilers. But yeah, I give it a 9.
Okay. I think for me, I think yeah, I would say it would be an 8 for me. Definitely, I'd say I was kind of struggling between back and forth. I think 7 would have been a too. It would have been way too harsh because I think it was still okay. Because of the action scenes, because of the reunions and all that type of stuff. So I think that definitely because I think I remember I gave episode 5 like a 9, so it's not definitely up there for me, but it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely maybe a step below. So 8 is probably a good kind of middle ground for me in terms of the impact of this episode. But in terms of rewatchability, I think the last 3 episodes are definitely the strongest. So
Yeah.
if you were to go back and rewatch Ahsoka, I would definitely rewatch like 5, 6, and 7. And who knows what's going to happen with 8, and who
Right.
knows what's going to happen with the next season. But we'll see what happens with that.
Or the movie, because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know if they're going to do another season or they're just going to go into the movie. But yeah, yeah.
Right, right, right. So, so any other thoughts before we head into the spoiler territory?
No, I think like all my thoughts require spoilers. So yeah,
Okay.
it is
All
what it
right.
is. So
All right. So if you like and enjoy our content, please like, subscribe. It'll really help out the algorithm, help us out because we kind of do this on our spare time, and definitely definitely we enjoy talking and interacting with our fans, and thank you for all your support so far. So spoilers ahead. Let's see, I'm on. Okay. I think the spoiler thing is kind of, let's see. But anyways, we'll just yeah.
it's further up.
That's further up. Hold up. Stop. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's that.
There we go. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, people. But so let's just actually go into it a little bit. We have actually a slideshow this week. We don't have screenshots, so we're just going to get right into that. So there were definitely some good scenes here, and this really popped up uh, in terms of uh, in terms of the interaction. In the spoiler-free logline, you were talking about how Hera was kind of like seeing. It's almost like going to the principal's office for her, kind of like being a rebel in a lot of ways, and then kind of holding herself accountable, having to held into account by the leaders, by the bureaucratic leaders of the Senate. And so we see in this shot where kind of 3PO comes in as in a very surprising cameo, comes in as kind of like the representative for
Leia,
Leia, yeah,
Leia.
for
Yep.
Senator Leia, and so it was really interesting to kind of see him there. And again, it's Anthony Daniels, so he's been in everything pretty much. I mean, he's done so many voiceovers. He's done a lot of. He's pretty much been like probably the most appeared Star Wars character in all of the properties. I'm talking about every single thing.
Yeah, his voice, because I guess
Yeah,
R2D2 has been in all of them as well, but it's just
exactly,
beeping. So his voice
exactly.
has been in every single one. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically, in this scene, he bails her out, saying that, oh, Leia was the one that was in charge of this secret mission, so that Hera can go into the secret mission to try to see if Thrawn was going to return. And so in a way, it kind of like diffused a lot of the situation. And I found it very
Yeah.
interesting that they used 3PO to do that. What are your thoughts about this, Nathan?
Yeah. The senator was pushing. I forget what his name is off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Might be on our notes. The senator was pushing for her to be removed, and she probably would have been removed, had it not been for 3PO coming in and saving her, on behalf of Leia. Yeah, this is part of what I was talking about. There was all kinds of complaints um,
Mm-hmm.
online about them not just recasting Leia or just using Leia. It was like I don't care. Like I really
Yeah.
don't care about Skywalkers anymore. I don't like I know that there are certain people that are big Star Wars fans and like read all the books and they really are wedded to seeing all the stuff that showed up in the books
Right.
with what Luke and Leia have done. I feel like focusing on the Skywalkers anymore just makes the galaxy so small. Everything that happens, not just like think about everything that happens on the planet. Everything that happens on the planet isn't just down to like one person or a
Right.
couple people or one family.
Right.
You're talking about the entire galaxy. Everything that happens in the galaxy doesn't have to include like them on screen. Like so, I think this is a good way to include them without having to either do a creepy digital
Yeah.
recreation of the late actress or recast.
Right.
And like I said, a lot of people are asking to recast. Like, I don't really have an issue with recasting in general.
Yeah.
I just don't really care about seeing Skywalkers anymore. So I like I don't.
Yeah.
And most like after they recast, maybe Leia rather. I wouldn't really care about Leia because I haven't seen much about Leia. But like I don't need them to recast Luke. I don't need to follow what Luke is doing.
Right.
I don't need them to be in the mix on every single thing that's happening in the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you're right. I think that in this context, I think that having 3PO there is definitely good enough. I think
Yeah.
at the same time, it's still the passing of Carrie Fisher is still pretty fresh, in a lot of people's minds, and so she's just an iconic character. And at the same time, but at the same time, I think you're right. Is that we need to kind of build up more characters, and it's just so important because it expands the universe a lot more. But also, you got to give other characters a shot at being like a prominent role besides just the Skywalkers.
Or fan favorites, or like
Right.
or as I said, like make it more realistic so that it's not just one family, like who is the linchpin of the fate of the entire galaxy. Um, they might have played their role at a particular moment in history, but they
Right.
don't need to be in every single moment in
Right.
history throughout the
Right.
galaxy.
True.
Yeah, so Luke is Luke. Like I said, I don't need to see any more Luke. I think it was a big mistake to have Luke at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. So I don't need to see any more Luke de-aged or recast. I guess we could see more Leia, and there has been calls to have Carrie Fisher's daughter play that role. I guess that's fine. But again, I don't need them to be in every single situation, every single show.
Right.
I
It's true.
understand that they're alive right now, but like
Yeah.
they don't need to be a part of like every single show in every single situation. So
Yeah. I
that's
understand.
how I feel. Other people feel other ways because they have large attachments to
Of course.
Luke and Leia. Like I specifically like I know a friend from graduate school who was so happy to see Luke at the end of season 2, and I was like, no.
Well,
and,
Nathan,
and
I mean, I was happy too. It's not like I wasn't happy. I was. It was. I mean, to be honest, I
so
think
many
that
other Jedi's who are
yeah.
alive. It's
I
fine.
mean, I definitely have a very soft spot for Luke Skywalker because again, I grew up with Luke Skywalker. I grew up with the originals, and seeing him there was really cool. In kind of like his peak Jedi form because we saw him, honestly, in the sequels is kind of like a much more reduced version of who he was, as the hero of the whole of that saga. So at the same time, I agree with you is that we don't really need to see them that much. But I think in this context, in this scene, it's definitely I agree with them. I don't agree with some of the fans that kind of like still clamor for them, consistently and constantly and things like that. So that's how
I think
I feel.
I think for all the people who were happy to see Luke, they are looking at that Luke through the eyes, or they're remembering him through the eyes of their childhood.
Sure,
If you watch,
absolutely.
if you watch the original trilogy like I did as an adult, because I was a Star Trek person
Yeah,
when I was a kid, and I saw the prequels before I saw the originals.
right.
Um, Luke whines through all those movies.
He does. Hey, you get no disagreement from me. You get no disagreement from me about it. You don't get any disagreements from me about it. And I think that people romanticize kind of like the more kind of action hero. Like, I mean, you get to see a little bit of that in Return of the Jedi, but he was more kind of like a little bit muted. Muted in the sequels, but he was much more at peace with himself when he was in Return of the Jedi, and you can tell the progression. Whereas, for some, it's like more of the young idealistic from the original Star Wars, the young idealistic go-getter, farm boy, which is great too. But at the same time, it's just, I think that everybody has their own kind of like fandom of who Luke is, and for me, it's just like, yeah, I did enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't necessarily need him that much as say other people do. So that's kind of where I'm at. Sorry. Oops. I'm gonna go back to that screen capture. So I'm gonna go to the next scene. Let me see if I can find the next scene here. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not the scene I'm looking for. But Thrawn is he's very calculated here. I just find him very, very surprising in this whole. It reminded me a lot of Rebels in a lot of ways. He was like, he's always thinking the long game. Like, there were a couple of scenes where he was like, he told Captain Enoch, he's like, yeah, we're just gonna let them go. It's not a big deal. And like, of course, he's not as shocked. But then when he talked to Morgan Elsbeth about it, she's like, what's going on? Like, why are you trying to let them go? And then he explained that, hey, we got everything that we needed to kind of accomplish, and it's just very interesting to kind of see that he is playing the long game in a lot of ways here. What are your thoughts about Thrawn?
Yeah, I mean, Thrawn was the best. I mean, he had a great introduction last week, and he played the part that I expected him to play. Like, they didn't. I feel like last week I was really concerned that they were blunting him and making him more like too much of a villain and not as complicated as he actually is. Like the strategist, the tactician, the strategist and the tactician that he is. But yeah, you could see him playing the larger game, and they actually had like a board set up for him, like where he was actually like looking at the battle from afar,
right?
Like he was playing Civilization or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
To see him look at the battle from above.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely very intriguing character, and just in terms of again, playing the long game is something that he was very good at in Rebels. Like, you can tell that he was cold and calculating, and why he's so feared in the galaxy. But again, I didn't read the books, and I'm sure that he's definitely much more complicated character in the books, which I haven't read yet. So. Let's keep moving here. So this is actually the scene where this is very much like the Millennium Falcon, and so this is where Ahsoka and Huyang leaves the Purgle, and when they get off of hyperspace, and there's a big kind of like conflict because of the mines that Thrawn had set up. That was really very good visuals. I would have to say, like. Yeah, in terms of the visuals of them going into the planet, like in the previous episodes, there was this one. It was just like really well done, and
movie quality.
Yeah, movie quality. But although at the back of my mind, I'm like they're doing the same with they're doing the same with this ship with the Millennium Falcon from Empire Strikes Back, which is fine, which is one of my favorite scenes of all time.
I don't remember a minefield.
There was no minefield, but they were going through asteroids, and that is like really, really well done. When Han Solo was escaping the Empire, and with Chewie and Leia. So again, it reminded me of that. Not as well done as that, but still pretty good overall here. And then you can see Huyang is definitely a very kind of fascinating character. I heard online that they want to do like a spin-off because he's been there. Yeah, he's been there for a while.
yeah, from his point of view, you could go through different eras of the Jedi. You could like every season skip 100 years or so and have a that would be really cool actually. Yeah.
And not just look at it from Yoda's standpoint, but also like just looking at all the other Jedi's, and I think that would be a very good thing to kind of grow the universe a lot more, and I think that they should take those risks to kind of do that. But we'll see where it goes from here with that. Um, this is what I'm talking about, the chase, and you saw the mercenary fighters. They were going after it, and it was kind of like it's a pretty tense situation. You know that she was going to survive, but at the same time, it's like how is she going to get out of it? And so I think that Thrawn basically said, he realized that she was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, and so he was like, he was like expect unpredictability from her. So it's like
Yeah.
you could tell that he's like already like steps ahead of everybody else, and how calculating he is, and just kind of like, and then you also get a sense that they got away with it, Ahsoka got away with it, but at the same time, no, Thrawn is actually not letting them go,
He let her go. He let her do what he what not necessarily what he expects her to do, but like she thinks that she's doing one thing, or he thinks that she's doing one thing. It remains to be seen whether or not he's as many steps ahead of her as he thinks, because he's just Thrawn doesn't have any force sensibility, sensitive sensibility, but he's just brilliant. He's just smarter than most people.
right.
So maybe using the force, she is able to understand that Thrawn is trying to distract her. But it remains to be seen, because she does, when she comes down and she meets Baylan, she does say, "I don't have time for this."
Right.
Right. So.
Right, and
So.
and so we'll get to that pretty soon. But it was, again, this is a nice kind of picture of the unification. But it seems as though like here Sabine's kind of holding back. She's been holding back the whole.
She still hasn't told
Yeah.
that she's the reason that Thrawn might escape.
Yeah, and he probably would have been. He's probably going to be pissed about that if that gets revealed. So, and it's like I think that people are kind of like disliking Sabine in a lot of ways, and I'm like, but hey, Sabine was kind of a very complicated character even in Rebels. She had the training, she was kind of like in and out. She wasn't. She didn't fit in a box. Let's just say that. And so just like in this live action series, she's not fitting in a box, so you can't really pin her down. And so people get upset about that. I'm like, but that's people. People are like that. People are complicated. You can't just fit people in a box and stuff.
People are like that, and also we wouldn't have a story if she didn't make that mistake. So
correct.
Like she would have destroyed the thing, and then nothing would have happened.
Right.
Now they need to handle it appropriately. People make stupid mistakes. People do emotional things, but you can't just like gloss over it and say and people not react. Like Ahsoka's already mentioned it to Huyang, right? And then now we have to see Ezra's reaction to the choice that she made as well.
Right.
So they can't just gloss over it.
Right.
So.
Real quick thing. What do you think of Ezra's powers not using the lightsaber? What do you think of that?
I feel like people complained about this too. It's so weird to watch like reactions since Tuesday last week. I've seen people react to like not giving him the lightsaber and saying that it's like a male, like depowering the male kind of thing.
It's weird.
Like they did the same thing with Luke. Luke was given the lightsaber and he threw it away. Sure, I guess. I feel like if you gave him the lightsaber, the fight would have been over way too quickly.
Yeah.
If you've watched Rebels, Ezra's really good with a lightsaber. By the end of the show, he could have cut them down very quickly. He also, so like, I think the choice there was to kind of hold off on him wielding a lightsaber until the finale, where you can see him
Really going on.
bust
Yeah.
out some moves. So,
Got it.
yeah.
I tend to agree, but I also think it's more like he's matured, and I think that he's grown wiser in like with more wisdom. You don't necessarily need a lightsaber to do that. I mean, if you look at it at parallel like Yoda, Yoda does not need a lightsaber. I mean, there were certain parts where he did, but like
Mhm.
people held off. People held off, and you know how powerful he was. We all knew how powerful he was, but at the same time, it's like he doesn't need it. And I think that that's kind of like something that you kind of like
He does have the force is my weapon.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you sense that there's a kind of a wiser type of thing, whereas when he was younger he was kind of like more hard-headed, more like okay. And also, again, not spoiling Rebels, but again, he was going down that path with Maul, so you can tell that he's probably a little bit more not subdued, but more focused and understand kind of like the ways of the Force a lot more than when he was younger. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And so this is where Baylan and Shin, they meet up with the mercenaries, and they're kind of like hunting them down in sort of ways, and also
This is the most
yeah.
interesting part of the show. This is the
Okay.
most interesting part of the episode for me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is no, this is the most interesting part because like Baylan obviously has his own agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and even though this is his apprentice, he senses in her that she wants different things than him, and he's not going to stand in her way.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to let her go and become a Sith, or if she wants to, or go and claim her prize in the Empire. But he has something else that he's cooking up, and I'm just interested to see. This is just a very interesting choice that he made. Interesting to see what his agenda is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of like let her go in some ways. It's like, you're not my apprentice anymore. You're ready. And I was like, what?
He
Already?
just gave her one final lesson.
Yeah, I know.
Eagerness for victory
I know.
will lead to defeat. Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like his Obi-Wan. That was his Obi-Wan moment in some ways. Like, your path is different from mine and stuff like that. It was so funny.
Yeah.
So interesting. This was really cool. I mean, the rematch here between Ahsoka and Baylan. And so he's kind of like saying, I thought you were dead. It's like, no, I've been resurrected like Gandalf.
I wonder if we're going to see a third fight in the finale, or like, because the implication here is that even though she has risen as Ahsoka the White, that she still can't beat him, because he says you can't beat me, and now she doesn't say I can't, but she does say maybe not, but I don't have to, because
Right.
like I said, when she first landed, she was like, I don't have time for this. I have
Right.
to get down to them.
Right.
So maybe she was just trying to get past him as an obstacle, and Huyang helped a little bit there when he put down some covering fire so she could get on the steed. So yeah,
Right.
it was a good fight though.
Definitely. And then toward the end of the episode, you have the unification of the rebels. And so it was nice. It was a nice touching scene, because they haven't seen each other in years, and also Sabine thinking that she was, Ahsoka was dead, but not really. And just like there's some reconnection and bonding. I thought that they would kind of they like it was much more. Well, I mean, from Rebels, you can tell that that Ezra did save Ahsoka, in Rebels, pulling her from the world between worlds. So, there's definitely a bond that's there, much stronger in terms of the interactions. So, yeah, we'll see kind of like how it plays out, because Thrawn's still in the back, like, okay, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to return, and how are they going to react to that? Moving forward in the last episode will be very, very interesting to find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, definitely. So, anyways, any final thoughts on as we wrap up episode 7?
No, just like as I said, I'm interested to see where Baylan goes, what his agenda is. Interested to see how, whether or not Thrawn is going to get away. I think he probably will, because he'll probably show up in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets away, as he's indicating at the end of this episode, like he's indicating that he's distracting them,
Right.
and he's nearly has all the cargo. If he gets away, are they going to be stranded there? And is that how the season's going to end? Them stranded in the other galaxy, and then they have to figure out how to get back. Are they going to use the worlds between worlds? Or are they going to use more Purgle? Because all the Purgle left, right? They were being bombarded by mines, and
Right.
they moved on past this planet. Like they could go to a third. They could have been. They could be in a third galaxy. Who knows how far away they are? So yeah. Want to see if they're going to get left behind. Also, it's interesting to see where not just Baylan is probably the most interesting to me, but Shin Hati, her defeat here, just like her master warned her about. Ahsoka said, "I can help. We can help you," and she runs away. So I want to see where she ends up too. So,
Definitely. Well, if you like our conversation, again, please like, share, and subscribe, and for more content like this. And we will see you in the next video. So hopefully we'll see you soon. Again, thanks. Bye.
Bye.